Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We will start the conversation. We are going to have a conversation, and ahlan wa sahlan وضيوف الجديد. And I would like for you to know about the Bahrain Family Business Association. We have to do a little bit of propaganda, and to remind you that we are a non-profit organization started in 30 July 2006. We are always, as all association, or we are looking for money, so we would be very obliged if you will give us some sponsorship or whatever it is, so that we can carry on with the thing. We are also always looking for new speakers that have value, will add value to the family business association, the people, and this one is very important for us, so we can continue to. We are going to have the Kareem Al-Ali, who was, he's telling me that we are going to have workshops. So if we're going to have workshops, he is going to make a program so that we can talk about the specific things for the family that they want to talk about regarding their problems. Like you have a problem with children, you have a problem with succession, etc. We'll make a special workshop which we will be letting you about. We are always been wanting to do a conference, a family business conference, but we have not been able to do that. But our association, its job is to look after the family business, the company business, and we'll continue to help them regarding structure, whatever it is related to the family, which we have been doing. And one of the things that we do is this monthly meeting, and we have had a succession of English, Arabic speaking, and we have got a lot of people coming in from Saudi, from the Emirates, from America, we have England, so we all, alaykum salam. So it is very good for us to tell you about the things that we are going to do with development. We're trying developing management models that will help you run your family business. And so now that we have done all the propaganda for the association, we go to the speaker.
To the propaganda.
We have Mr. Dr. David, the speaker in the evening, this evening from San Diego. He comes specially for this organization, for this meeting, and we are not going to pay him any money at all. So, he's the managing partner, which you have the information there, with he is the managing partner with Organized Change Consultancy USA. And I must tell you that David impresses me the things that he has done. He's been all over the world, 50 countries. He's been working in the Gulf since 1993, which actually, when I started talking about family business, that's the right time. And he's been all over the place, in the Gulf, everywhere. And I don't usually do propaganda for the speakers, but when we had lunch yesterday, you have come across to me that the type of people that we need, who others should ask you to talk to them, because if you can impress us today, how if we move from family-run business to CEO-managed business, and it works, then we will have stamp for approval. So now that we have talked too much about you, I think it is time that I'll give you the chair, the whatever, for you to go ahead.
If I may ask you, is that, first of all, the talking part of this is going to be a very small piece, okay? Because I don't want to talk. This sounds maybe a little strange, but I don't want to talk. What I want to do is I want to listen to your questions and have a discussion, okay? And kind of go on from that point. So if I don't get lots of questions, I'm going to start pointing to people, okay? And start having people ask questions that way. So if I may ask, how many companies here, or how many people here are in companies that are either considering or have already gotten a non-family CEO? So maybe about 25%, maybe 30% or so for that. How many are thinking about it? Okay, so you've got, and the rest of you came for the food and for the conversation, yes? Okay, as far as that's concerned. Well, if I may ask those people who have done or are doing so or are thinking about doing so, why are you doing it?
We did it basically because the company is founded by two partners, the father and my uncle, who is my mother's side uncle. They're two different types of people. So we wanted to manage the emotions that they go through an independent person, which is the CEO, who's sitting right next to me here, Mr. Ronnie Surti. He's taking care of that right now. He's been with us for 8 months. He's done a fantastic job so far, taking care of the emotional side of the family business. And another thing is the transformation from the old business model to the new generation of business models. That's basically why we did it. And it's doing fine so far. Okay. Thank God.
Who else? And I'm not sure how far back there had raised their, there we go, I'm sorry, there we go.
We are thinking of it because if you put a non-family CEO and you give him and you set for him the policy by the owner, and if he doesn't do his job, you put him in his bike. But if you put one from a family, it's very difficult to put them in their bike. So this is one reason. And then also for the experience, you bring somebody to add value, to add something which you don't have, and also to put systems, and maybe that will help in succession, so you keep the family business go on for second generation.
Okay. Who else? I think there was someone back there.
Just thinking about it, because you asked that question. I'm starting a new business with my kids, 4 of them, university graduates. some from USA, some from here. We had a few meetings and we started fighting to the point that, I'm losing control of the family. So I think it's going or coming back from financial background, working with banks, it makes sense. Okay, I just wanted to see if we can work it out on family grounds, and it was clear from the first few meetings that this will not work.
You can't get there from here.
Right.
Okay. So notice what you are saying, that you're saying, talking about moving from a family-run business to a CEO system. That's the hard part. Because, as what some of you have already mentioned, it's not just the question about bringing almost a stranger into your family. Okay? I mean, let's be frank about it. It's a stranger into your family. It's also that particular stranger may be thinking about things differently than you do. And if he or she is thinking about things differently than you do, then maybe you don't like to listen to what he or she has to say. And that's a problem. Because in one case, maybe what you want to do is that you're tired of the infighting, okay, in a particular case. And so you're thinking about someone bringing in neutral into the organization to be dealing with those situations, which is fine. But here's the question. Isn't that just kind of dumping your own problems onto somebody else? That's not going to be working very well. If more or less you're saying, here, I want to hand this mess over to somebody else, it's not going to be very effective. So in part, you have to think about why you are bringing in a CEO to begin with. If, big if, you're saying what you really want to have is, for lack of a better word, a yes man, a person who will do what the family wants him or her to do, that's okay. In other words, that's perfectly acceptable. The assumption behind that thinking is that the future is like the past. And if you've lived the last, 4 years or so, 5 years or so around here, you know that has not happened. And that things can change very, very quickly. So the one question you have to ask is the business that you want to become going to be very different or have to be run very differently than how it is now? And if it is, and you don't know how to do that yourself, and you're thinking about bringing in a CEO instead, good. But then comes the tension between how you have been doing it and how that new person wants to have it done. And that creates discomfort. He may be looking under the rug when you don't want him to look under the rug. He may be finding things out you don't want him to find out. There may be cases where he or she has an idea on what to do that some family members are not comfortable with. Being uncomfortable is not a bad thing. But if you think about bringing in someone just as an extra pair of hands, then you're assuming the future is like the past, and you're doing very, very well, and you don't need to change. And if you believe that, that is perfectly okay. That's not the world that I see, but that's the situation. So when you think about doing this thing, and by the way, I wanted to mention one other thing too, is that there may be, if you will, a third circumstance as to the reason why you would be wanting to bring in a CEO. And that for one particular, and I apologize, I will not be naming companies, as you can imagine, because even if I tell you hints, you're going to have a pretty good idea about who they are. But this one Saudi company in the construction business, I'll leave it at that. What they had done is that the founder of the firm was in his 70s. His sons were in their 20s. Even if they were motivated to become CEOs, they definitely were not ready. And in that particular circumstance, they were considering bringing in as a CEO as more or less as a transition figure, okay, until one or more of the sons became available, ready, and willing to be able to do the job. So just by bringing in a CEO does not necessarily mean it's a permanent kind of structure, right? You can actually think about bringing someone in as a transition figure to something else. Okay? So think about it that way. Some of the issues that which you're going to have to deal with if you're thinking about this, and if you don't mind, I'm going to put that down so people can see, is that first of all, is that you're giving up control. Ooh, think about this, is that how many days, months, years, decades that so many of you have put into your company, okay? Mr. Howard, how long have you been in your company?
My company?
Yes.
Oh, about 25.
Okay.
No.
When you were 10 years old, like we were talking about before, I know.
40 something.
For 40 some odd years. So you've now put 40 years of your life
Yes.
into a company. I would consider that to be another child of you, if you put that much time and effort into it, right? And now what you're doing is one way or the other is that you're going to give up control of your baby. And by the way, that also means that you probably will not be getting the status as much as you had before of running a company. You can't say, I did this, I did this, I did this. Guess what? You can't say that anymore because someone else is actually doing it.
But I'm going to interrupt. Why should I bother me if the CEO is going to bring me money? But if he doesn't do the money, then and I lose control, and I don't have the status. So why should I do it?
The question becomes is that why are you doing this? Why are you actually doing this? If you are doing it because you want to maintain status, that's one thing. If you're doing it to maximize the profitability of the company, that's something else. So it goes back to the question, why are you doing it and what do you want to achieve out of this?
I mean, in public held companies, there is the issue of agency problem due to the separation between the ownership and the control. So that means